Огонь!
Preparing the mortar. Fire!
The Russian army has intensified its efforts in the Kupiansk direction. Russian occupiers are trying to break through the defenses of Ukrainian armed forces, but Ukrainian defenders are holding their ground, preventing the enemy from advancing. Every day, they withstand dozens of combat engagements.
They keep coming and coming, on ATVs on foot, in groups of 2 or 5. Sometimes it goes on all day and night, but we fight back.
Volodymyr is 25 years old, 5 of which he has spent defending Ukrainian land. He comes from a military family in Vinnytsia region. After graduating from the Land Forces University, he was assigned to the 92nd Brigade, where he served as an assault company commander. He took part in the liberation of Kharkiv region during Ukraine's counteroffensive in the fall of 2022, advancing all the way to Dvoricha in the Kupiansk district. Later, he transferred to the 43rd Brigade, continuing his service in this direction.
The key is to never show weakness. You must confidently set tasks and lead by example, showing how they should be executed.
Defending Ukraine here means no breaks for rest. The commander admits that he carries children's drawings under his body armor as a good luck charm.
They're all worn out. Back when I was in the Joint Forces operation, kids from my school in Zhuravne, Vinnytsia region, sent them to me. There's even a letter from my neighbor. I'm writing to thank you for your courage, resilience, and for protecting our Ukraine from the enemy.
Mikhailo has been serving in the brigade for a year and a half. He is an operations officer and also oversees artillery units. In civilian life, his job has nothing to do with the military. He worked as a sales representative, but he had to quickly adapt, and now he talks to new recruits, shares his experience, and mentally prepares soldiers before combat.
You have to talk to each soldier, find out why they're afraid, and channel that fear into action. Everyone is scared, but they need to understand. Fear is not the most important thing. The most important thing is victory, for us to reclaim our territories and protect the civilians behind us.
Огонь!
Fire. Reset the position.
Staff Sergeant with the call sign Ptah recalls that on February 24, 2022, he finished his last shift at a mine in the Dnipropetrovsk region before volunteering for the front. He says that back in 2022, the UAV had no advantage in the skies or air defense systems, but Ukraine's forces endured and are now striking back using foreign equipment and drones.
Tactics have changed. If you compare it to the beginning of the full-scale war, when they moved in columns and we burned them down in open areas, now everything has shifted with drone warfare. This is a new field that Ukraine must develop. The more UAV aviation systems we have, the better it will be for our troops and for Ukraine as a whole.
The situation in the Kupiansk direction remains difficult. Despite relentless enemy attacks, the servicemen of the 43rd Separate Mechanized Brigade continue to fulfill their combat missions, demonstrating an unbreakable spirit and resilience in the toughest conditions. Reported by Sergei Kulyas, Natalia Belokudrya, Andriy Domovoy, UATV News.
This video shows a Ukrainian drone pilot conducting reconnaissance, overseeing Russian infantry hiding in the basement of a ruined building. Suddenly, the Ukrainian drone operator, call sign Frank, spots an enemy UAV in the camera's view. He receives an order to destroy the Russian drone, and the Ukrainian UAV initiates an attack. How can you land on top of a Mavic?
Подлететь над ним.
Fly over it, hover for a moment if possible, though the situation can vary, and try to land carefully on it. Carefully, because you risk losing your own. At that point, it's really a matter of luck.
The mission was a success. The Ukrainian drone damaged the Russian UAV's propellers, causing it to crash. The Ukrainian UAV continued its reconnaissance mission. Some operations are even more challenging, requiring pilots to attack enemy drones before they can strike Ukrainian positions. One such mission was recently carried out by a soldier with the call sign Haron.
В тот день
That day was intense. The enemy drones were flying in, dropping bombs and leaving quickly. There was no time. We had to dive straight at them. At best, they'd stop for a second to stabilize, so the bomb wouldn't go off course. But hovering for a few seconds to aim, impossible. We had to go head-on.
For these soldiers, such aerial drone battles have become routine. Each reconnaissance mission comes with an expectation that the drone might not return. If the drone was damaged and was found and returned, it is repaired right at the positions.
Strange bugs crawl out of these drones all the time.
So you open them up and...
Yeah, once we found a bunch of leaves inside and even earthworms and sprouting seeds.
Roman, a soldier who has served for a year, worked on repairing computers and mobile devices before joining the army. For 3 months he studied how to fix drones using various sources. Now he can repair up to 6 UAVs daily if the damage isn't critical. He also works on upgrading them.
We install a second battery to increase flight time. More time in the air means longer reconnaissance missions.
This field lab services all types of combat drones, including large strike UAVs like the Kazan and Vampire. Here they use 3D printers to make parts like these tail sections, such as this one for a 120mm mortar shell. The lighter the munition, the more effective the drone. By lightening munitions by 10% or more, the team improves the drone's technical performance.
There are various manufacturers, Indian, Ukrainian, and they have different weights. For example, some Indian batches weigh 12.5 to 14 kilograms. The ones we have weigh 16 kilograms. According to the technical specifications of bombers like the Vampire, it can carry up to 15 kilograms, but that's the absolute limit, and only for a range of up to 6 kilometers.
This lab is a 24-hour operation, sending repaired equipment back to the front lines, primarily to the Vovchansk direction, where the 154th Separate Mechanized Brigade is currently defending. Reported by Katerina Bastun, Alena Gramova, Yevgen Karmazin from Donetsk region, UATV News.